Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, today's chief guest. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Chief of the Navies, Coast Guard, and Head of the Delegation, other members of the delegation from across the globe, invited civil and military dignitaries, members of the print and electronic media, and ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to all. It's my great honor and finest privilege to welcome you all to today's Maritime Discourse of International Fleet Review 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, from time immemorial, the oceans have held the key to mankind's destiny over the land. Sea offers many major attributes like resources, trade, livelihood, and power. Potential of maritime resources have made the oceans unquestionable gateway to prosperity. Bangladesh is no exception. All of you know that land divides but sea unites. But it has to be well secured to glean the maximum benefits. Good at sea should prevail to be beneficial for the seafarers. Due to depletion of the resources on the land, people have to depend more and more on the sea for their livelihood and economic emancipation. Today, for economic prosperity, the nations are looking towards sea with a greater expectation than before. For securing this transoceanic division, it is essential to have mutual cooperation, affinity, and collective support to attain common objectives at sea. Therefore, this is the underlying spirit of this International Fleet Review 2022, and quite sensibly, the theme has been delineated as friendship beyond the horizon. Ladies and gentlemen, today, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, People's Republic of Bangladesh, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen has ornamented the chair as chief guest. I would like to extend our sincere thanks and gratitude to the Honorable Chief Guest for gracing this occasion despite his busy schedule. Dear audience, the first ever International Fleet Review 2022 has been organized to celebrate birth centenary of Father of the Nation and to commemorate glorious golden jubilee of independence of Bangladesh. Two great national events have given Bangladesh Navy an opportunity to host an international confluence of naval leaderships. Bangladesh Navy is looking forward to this event as an ideal and a unique platform to invigorate the existing relationship and to increase connectivity, collaboration, and cooperation with transoceanic maritime communities. We are delighted to have an overwhelming response to the International Fleet Review with 8 ships from 6 friendly countries, participating more than 85 delegation members from 27 countries across the globe. We would like to express our heartfelt thanks and felicitation to the friendly navies for affirming their wholehearted effort to make it up to Cox's Bazar, especially in this challenging time. Today's Maritime Discourse intends to provide an invaluable prospect to the operational commanders to share their insight, views, and ideas on maritime affairs to foster stronger ties and interoperability at sea. August gathering. To begin with main focus of today's Maritime Discourse, we would like to show you some glimpses of today's activities in a video clip. Let's enjoy the audio-visual show.
Through thick and thin, it stays strong. Be Beyond all borders, there's one special bond. Today, we pull the strings of our bond. Together, we shall thrive. With empathy and belief, our unity now stands as our pride. Prevailing through what we seek, hand in hand in times of need. Yet, together on this path, we firmly hold through each passing wave. Sailing through storms, our strengthened bond goes on. Beyond borders that divide, creating bonds that unite. And establishing a friendship beyond the horizon.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, let me take the honor to make an announcement of speakers of today's program. We shall have the privilege to listen from the Maritime mavericks from across the globe. That includes Chief of the Navy and Head of the Delegations of Indian Navy, Islamic Republic of Iran Navy, Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, Royal Malaysian Navy, Nigerian Navy, Royal Thai Navy, Turkish Naval Force, and finally, United States Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, due to paucity of time, in this segment, in this Maritime discourse, intentionally we have not catered any Q&A session. However, if someone shares to his any point, viewpoint, or any point of concern, he is always welcome. August gathering. I would like to pronounce that we are deeply indebted to India for rendering invaluable support during our liberation war. We solemnly show our respect to the valiant members of Indian Armed Forces who joined, toiled, and shed their bloods for the great cause of our independence. As you know that, Bangladesh and India enjoy an inseparable bond that unites these two countries with common heritage and shared history. The corresponding relation between these two navies is also progressive and mutually beneficial. With that connotation, it would be a great experience to listen to Vice Admiral Bishwajit Das Gupta, Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief of Eastern Command of Indian Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Admiral Das Gupta.
Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, People's Republic of Bangladesh, Admiral M. Shaheen Iqbal, Chief of the Naval Staff, Bangladesh Navy, Chiefs of Navies, Heads of Delegations, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the Government of India and the Indian Navy, I compliment all ranks of the Bangladesh Navy on the very professional conduct of the International Fleet Review and congratulate Bangladesh on its Golden Jubilee year as an independent nation and also on the centenary commemoration of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of your nation and a great friend of India. It is indeed a fitting celebration, and we bring with us an assurance of lasting friendship and cooperation, being the closest neighbor to your west. ভারত এবং ভারতীয় নৌবাহিনীর পক্ষ থেকে বাংলাদেশ এবং বাংলাদেশ নৌবাহিনীকে জানাই অনেক অনেক অভিনন্দন ও শুভেচ্ছা। I know the language, I'm a Bengali myself. Very few nations in the world understand or realize the value of a friendly neighborhood. The history and geography of India has created for us several concerns regarding relations with some of our neighbors. In this backdrop, the strategic and friendly relationship between India and Bangladesh stands out like a shining beacon. Our cultural, historical, linguistic, and societal ties binds us in a very special way. These bonds were further forged in the crucible of fire of the Bangladesh Liberation War. As our democracies grow and mature, it is up to us to leverage these strong ties into mutual dividends for the well-being of our people. In earlier days, nations looked inward and were quite content to live and prosper within their own societies. The seas permitted nations to venture beyond horizons and enabled global trade and conquest, which in turn ushered in eras of colonization, exploitation, and untold misery upon unsuspecting countries across the world. All nations that were perpetrators of this unfortunate era of colonization were, without exception, maritime powers. And all nations so exploited had no maritime forces worth their name. Sea blindness has also been a very common disease the world over. We in India have suffered some very serious variants of this disease too for decades after our independence. Fortunately, in recent times, the significance of the seas has been realized, not just for its economic potential and other benefits, but also for the possibility of its use to the detriment of our national interests. Maritime forces are the only ones that can truly look beyond the horizon, and hence the theme of today's discussion is rather aptly chosen, when maritime forces from different parts of the world have come together for a joint celebration. The characteristics of maritime forces make them eminently suited as friend makers beyond the horizon. It is our experience in the Indian Navy that diplomatic relations between two nations that have a robust Navy-to-Navy component are stronger and more cordial than others. Several challenges that the world faces today are transnational, and most such challenges cannot be tackled by any one country alone. Piracy, maritime terrorism, illegal fishing, human, drug, and arms trafficking, climate change are examples of such transnational issues, among several others. The geographical expanse of such activities, lack of maritime capability with smaller nations, and disregard for international laws and codes of conduct by some countries compound the challenge. Further, the larger the area of interest of a nation, the greater is the operational stretch. In terms of technological progress, many countries and even whole regions have fallen behind in the technology race. And once behind, they have never been able to close the gap. This is where friendships beyond the horizons find their salience. When nations and navies come together to tackle common challenges, learn from each other, leverage each other's strengths, mitigate each other's shortcomings, bridge training capability and technology gaps, and work together for the common good, everyone benefits in some way or the other. Talking about friendships, geography is a significant factor. When there is an immediate need, it helps to have a neighbor as a friend. Naval professionals will understand that in such times, a friend halfway across the globe is of little help. The tyranny of distance cannot be wished away. It is the difference between a friend who comes to your assistance physically when your chips are down and another who is like a virtual friend a few time zones away. Trust is another and perhaps the most important component of friendship. There are friendships that are all-weather and endure the test of time, and there are others that come with the phrase, conditions apply. Openness and clarity of intent signal the quality of friendship. The Indian Navy considers itself a benign, non-interfering, non-threatening, yet strong force for peace and stability in the Indian Ocean region. We believe in neighborhood first because we continually experience the pinpricks of hostile neighborhoods across some of our own borders. Our relationship with neighbors, therefore, occupies prime space in our national security calculus. It is my belief that the near horizon should always be priority number one, as reaching out to the far horizons depends a lot on economic power, strategic interests, and force capability. The Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative and India's maritime vision of Sagar, which means the ocean and stands for security and growth for all in the region, aims at creating and ushering such a free, open, peaceful, inclusive, and prosperous region that works towards common goals and works together to avoid coercion or conflict through acceptable rules-based orders and codes of conduct. We cherish our relationships with all friends across oceans and continents and trust that they will grow stronger in the coming years. India and Bangladesh, in my personal opinion, are not just friends. We are close relatives, unnaturally separated by force of circumstance. Once again, I express my gratitude to the Chief and all hands of the Bangladesh Navy for your warm hospitality, congratulate you on this historic occasion, and convey our deepest appreciation for so meticulously organizing a fitting celebration. Long live Indo-Bangla friendship. Joy Bharat, Joy Bangla.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring talk. Your views on securing sea for mankind and making good relation with the among the littorals are well appreciated. Dear audience, the relations between Iran and Bangladesh have always been friendly and believed to be deepening further in case of bilateral and international fields. Iranian preachers have enriched our religious knowledge to a great extent. Please welcome Rear Admiral Shahram Irani, Commander of Islamic Republic of Iran Navy on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Shahram Irani.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. وزیر محترم امور خارجه، فرمانده محترم نیروی دریایی بنگلادش، فرماندهان و مقامات کشوری حاضر در مراسم، مقامات لشکری حاضر در مراسم، مهمانان گرانقدر، خانم‌ها و آقایان، سلام علیکم، صبح بخیر.
In the name of God, esteemed Bangladesh Ministry of Foreign Affairs, respectful Bangladesh Navy Chief of Naval Staff, commanders, military and non-military authorities present in this hall, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, hello and very good morning.
قبل از هر چیز 50مین سالگرد استقلال کشور بنگلادش و 100مین سالگرد تولد پدر بنگلادش شیخ مجیب الرحمن را به مردم و نیروهای مسلح این کشور علل خصوص آدمیرال شاهین اقبال فرمانده محترم نیروی دریایی این کشور تبریک عرض می‌کنم.
First of all, I would like to express my warm congratulations regarding the Golden Jubilee of the independence of Bangladesh and birth century of the father of nation, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, to the people and military forces of Bangladesh in general, and to Admiral Shaheen Iqbal, the respectful Bangladeshi Chief of Naval Staff in particular.
خداوند بزرگ را شاکرم که این فرصت را به ما داد تا بتوانیم در نخستین جشن ناوگان کشور دوست مسلمان و برادر بنگلادش حضور پیدا کنیم.
I would like to thank the Almighty for giving us this opportunity to be able to participate in the first ever international fleet review of Muslim friend and brother country Bangladesh.
مهمانان گرامی، همانطور که استحضار دارید، نیروی دریایی ارتش جمهوری اسلامی ایران یکی از فعالترین اعضای اجلاس نیروهای دریایی اقیانوس هند بوده که در سال 2018 ریاست این اجلاس مهم منطقه‌ای را از نیروی دریایی بنگلادش تحویل و در رزمایش آن که در همین منطقه برگزار گردید با 2 فروند شناور شرکت نمود.
Dear guests, as you know, the Islamic Republic of Iran Navy is one of the active members of Indian Ocean Naval Symposium, which took over the responsibility of this important regional summit from the Bangladesh Navy in 2018 and took part in its first ever exercise under the aegis of IONS in Sarix 2017 in this area with 2 ships.
عزیزان، به دلیل اهمیت دریا خداوند در قرآن 7 بار به دریا قسم یاد می کند و در این کتاب مقدس به حرکت کشتی‌ها بر روی آب اشاره شده است. 2/3 کره زمین را آب فرا گرفته و خشکی‌ها در آن محصور هستند. بالغ بر 80% از جمعیت کره زمین در مجاورت سواحل و یا حداکثر در 200 کیلومتری از آن زندگی می کنند و حدود 90% از تجارت جهانی کالا از طریق دریا انجام می شود. دریا نقشی حیاتی در زندگی کشورهای مجاورش داشته و ارزش واقعی آن را تنها 44 کشوری درک می کنند که در خشکی محصورند و به دریاهای آزاد دسترسی ندارند.
Dears, Allah the Almighty swears in the Holy Quran to sea 7 times. 2/3 of the earth is covered by water, and lands are surrounded by water. More than 80% of the world population are inhabiting in coastal lines or in the close vicinity of 200 kilometers. Approximately 90% of the world trade is through the sea. Sea plays a vital role in the life of its littorals, and this only is truly felt by those 44 countries which are landlocked and have no direct access to the free seas.
مهمانان ارجمند، دریا بستر لازم و مهمترین موهبت الهی است که به ما امکان رسیدن به شعار این مراسم، دوستی برای افق را در عمل فراهم می کند. دریا مزیت دسترسی را به ما مجاورین و بهره بردارانش هدایت کرده و امکان حضور، رشد و توسعه در ابعاد گوناگون را برای همه ما فراهم کرده و استفاده درست از این موهبت الهی نیازمند امنیت، تخصص، آموزش، مشارکت، همکاری و دوستی در آن سوی افق است.
Dear guests, the sea is the necessary bedrock and the most important divine gift that provides us with the possibility to achieve the slogan of this ceremony, friendship beyond the horizon in practice. The sea has gifted the accessibility advantage to its neighbors and stakeholders. Sea provided the possibility of presence, growth, development in various dimensions for all of us. Proper use of this divine gift requires security, expertise, training, participation, cooperation, and indeed friendship beyond the horizon.
هیچ کشوری به تنهایی قادر به برقراری امنیت دریایی در این پهنه وسیع آبی نبوده و دستیابی به امنیت جمعی پایدار نیازمند همکاری، مشارکت و دوستی پایدار است. برای ارتقای این امنیت جمعی که در منشور آیونز نیز ذکر شده است، کشورهای منطقه‌ای میبایست از هیچ تلاشی دریغ ننموده و دست یکدیگر را به مشارکت در این امر به گرمی بفشارند. البته باید به این مهم توجه داشت که امنیت باقی در هر منطقه تنها با مشارکت و دوستی کشورها و نیروهای همان منطقه تأمین شده و حضور هر نیروی فرامنطقه‌ای نامطلوبی به ناامنی بیشتر دامن خواهد زد.
No single country is capable to maintain security in the vast expanse of water, and achieving sustainable collective security requires cooperation, collaboration, and friendship. In order to promote this collective security, which is also mentioned in the IONS Charter of Business, the regional countries should spare no efforts and warmly shake hands to participate in this matter. Of course, it should be noted that the real security in each region can only be provided with the participation and friendship of the countries and forces of that region, and the presence of any undesirable extra-regional force will fuel more insecurity.
مایلم از همینجا اعلام نمایم که نیروی دریایی ارتش جمهوری اسلامی ایران در جهت برقراری این امنیت جمعی از هیچ تلاشی فروگذار نبوده و در این زمینه دسته دوستی و همکاری را به سوی همه نیروهای دریایی آزاد و فعال دراز می‌کند.
Hereby, I would like to announce that Iranian Navy will not hesitate to render any efforts to help this desirable collective security, and extends the hand of friendship and cooperation to all free and active naval forces in this regard.
یک بار دیگر سالگرد استقلال بنگلادش و سالروز تولد بنیانگذار این کشور آباد، آزاد و مستقل را تبریک عرض نموده و از همه دستاندرکاران این مراسم باشکوه علل خصوص آدمیرال شاهین اقبال سپاسگزارم.
Once again, I congratulate the anniversary of the independence of Bangladesh and the birthday of the father of this prosperous, free and independent nation, and sincerely thank everyone engaged in this wonderful ceremony, especially Admiral Shaheen Iqbal.
برای تمامی شناورهای نیروی دریایی بنگلادش و همچنین ناوهای شرکت کننده در این جشن بزرگ دریایی آرام و بادی موافق آرزومندم. دیر کوبیجی هوو جوی بنگلا.
For all the vessels of the Bangladesh Navy, as well as all the ships participating in this great IFR, I wish fair winds and following seas. Long live friendship beyond horizon. Long live Bangladesh. Thank you.
Admiral, we do appreciate your perception on maritime affairs, especially to enhance collective security. We do also acknowledge your sense of satisfaction, especially for IFR 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, the ties between Bangladesh and Japan are unique and indispensable, forged through mutual trust and cooperation. Japan is a major development partner of Bangladesh. Correspondingly, Bangladesh Navy is also looking forward to have growing relations with Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. At this point, let's avail the honor to call upon Vice Admiral Saito Akira, Vice Chief of Staff, Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Saito Akira.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Vice Admiral Saito, Vice Chief of Staff, Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. It is an honor and a privilege to attend the International Fleet Review and speak in front of you. Some may think it is a little early to say this, but the success of the International Fleet Review can be attributed to Admiral Iqbal's profound leadership. I believe Japan and Bangladesh have a lot in common. We also held an International Fleet Review last month to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the JMSDF Foundation. Let me give you another example. Please look at the screen. Our national flags are very similar. Thank you. When I was in elementary school, there was a test on national flags. Back then, colored copies were not common. So the test was printed in black and white. It gave me a headache to stare and figure out which flag was which. Now, I will give a speech on the session's theme, Friendship Beyond the Horizon. I would like to stress how friendship among naval officers can contribute the peace and stability of the region, using example of JMSDF activities. In this region, we have increasingly seen some countries' challenges to international order and attempts to change the status quo by force. There are many we must work on, but it is clear that not a single nation can solve these numerous challenges alone. It requires cooperation among many countries, both within and outside the Indo-Pacific region. There are many ways to cooperate with people inside and outside the region. Vessels are considered one of our main assets. However, it is actually our people that move the vessels out to sea. Now, I would like to introduce a book called Friendship Across the Seas by Professor Agawa Naoyuki. The book describes the history of the relationship between Japan and the US. The two countries fought each other fiercely during the Pacific War during the Pacific War in World War II. Coincidentally, on this day, 81 years ago, Japan Imperial Navy attacked Pearl Harbor with its aircraft carrier strike group. But over the years, they have built strong ties with respect for and trust in each other. Now, the two countries enjoy one of the most successful alliances on Earth. This was made possible through accumulated interaction of people. Therefore, I would like to introduce activities of the JMSDF, focusing on the personnel exchange. The first program I would like to introduce is the Shipwrighter program. This invites junior officers from each country on board JMSDF ships. And through various training, it aims to promote the learning of practical skills as well as building network among the officers. Since the JMSDF deploys ships around the world, mainly in the Indo-Pacific area, for exercise and operations, such as Indo-Pacific deployment and overseas training crews, we are able to interact with many countries through the Shipwrighter program. The second one is WPN STEP, short for WPNS Short-Term Exchange Program for Officers of the Next Generation. This event is held every year by the JMSDF Command and Staff College in Tokyo. It offers a platform for participants ranging from lieutenant to commanders, gathering from WPNS members and observer nations to discuss maritime challenges and issues. The third one is the Indo-Pacific Naval College Seminar, also hosted by the JMSDF Command and Staff College, which is targeted at mainly 06 level senior officers and provides a stage for captain to discuss issues across a wide variety of themes. The program greatly contributes to promoting mutual understanding and building trust among senior level officers who have served for years in the Navy, have profound knowledge and experience, and have influence of country or Navy decision-making. These personnel exchange programs are only some of JMSDF efforts in building a foundation to tackle our challenges together. The three programs of personnel exchange are not independent from one another. The junior officer who took part in the shipwrighter program have chances to reunite in future programs such as WPNS STEPS and the Indo-Pacific Naval College Seminar. Naval officers work in a big world across many seas, but our world of Navy is perhaps smaller than we think. These exchanges are unique to the Navy and something we can call friendship beyond the horizon. Lastly, to realize free and open sea, the JMSDF will continue to collaborate and cooperate with other navies in various fields, such as personnel exchange. As a part of such effort, on behalf of the Chief of Staff, Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, I extend our deep gratitude to the navies for taking part in the WPNS and International Fleet Review we hosted last month. Again, I would like to thank you for giving time to make a speech here today. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Admiral, thanks profusely for sharing your views and perspective. Especially it touched our heart for drawing similarity between Bangladesh and Japan. I am sure in future the relation between Bangladesh Navy and GMSDF would be further progressive. Distinguished guest, the 5 decades of Bangladesh-Malaysia relations can only best be described with only one word: resilience. Over the era after era, there have been genuine effort and initiative to enhance the level of cooperation. Similarly, Royal Malaysian Navy is a trusted partner of Bangladesh Navy and provides staging posts regularly for our overseas deployment. Let's warmly welcome Vice Admiral Dato Roslan Muhammad Yunus, Commander of National Task Force. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Muhammad Yunus.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Your Excellency Chief of Naval Staff, Bangladesh Navy, fellow admirals, distinguished representatives, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Let me first begin by extending my sincerest appreciation to our generous host, Admiral M. Shaheen, Chief of Naval Staff, Bangladesh Navy, for the wonderful warm welcome and hospitality that were accorded to us since our arrival in Bangladesh. I'd like to also formally congratulate the Bangladesh Navy for successfully planning and executing this prestigious event. It is a pleasure to be here after a long absence from face-to-face meetings due to the pandemic. I always look forward to this kind of meeting where we share similar values, interests, and concerns that are unique to our business. This particular occasion, for example, embodies our Navy Way culture. With the transition of the pandemic into the new phase, it left us with many lessons learned from this experience. One for sure is that mitigating the pandemic needs a commonality of purpose from all of us as a regional entity. It has underscored that for our region to be grounded in resilience, sustainability, and inclusivity, we must work closely. Hence, the theme for today's sharing sessions, Friendship Beyond the Horizon, is very fitting. Fellow admirals, ladies and gentlemen, over the years, we have made progress toward achieving our national objectives, which aim to foster an environment of peace, stability, and prosperity, while upholding justice and the rule of law as fundamental elements. And undoubtedly, the threats impacting the safety and security of our maritime domain are mostly transboundary. Therefore, it is essential that addressing them requires global commitment and cooperation. Furthermore, the numerous bilateral and multilateral engagements such as this will continue to be relevant, which enhance cooperation and further strengthen our bridges of friendships. Notwithstanding, our attendance here today is a testament and amplification of this strength in our Navy's relationships, characterized by the warmth of comradeship and friendships. In parallel, I would also like to state that the Royal Malaysian Navy deeply values this kind of cordial relationship and steadfastly reaffirm the continuous work by RMN to ensure that these cooperation ties remain intact and will only grow from strength to strength. Premising on mutual respect and understanding, we should stay focused on strengthening these values in our relations. There is no doubt that this strategic interaction in such occasions is the right platform for fostering continued friendships and solidarity among our navies. However, we have to admit that there is still room for improvements and opportunities for the navies to explore, especially in identifying each other's creative and innovative ways as a means in conducting our business. Let us work together to continue building greater beneficial cooperation between our navies for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we would like to extend our sincere appreciation to Admiral M. Shaheen Iqbal and Bangladesh Navy's steadfastness in hosting this Bangladesh International Fleet Review 2022. We look forward to a fruitful interaction with you to further strengthen our inclusiveness and friendship. The Royal Malaysian Navy will continue to support you in whatever way possible. I also would like to take this opportunity to invite you and your Navy ships to participate in Lima 2023 International Fleet Review in conjunction with the 16th Langkawi International Maritime and Aerospace Exhibition 2023, which is scheduled to be held in Langkawi Island from the 23rd until 27th of May 2023. The Royal Malaysian Navy looks forward to welcoming you and your Navy ships in Langkawi next year. With that, I wish everyone all the best and to continue the good work in making our sea and shore a better place for the future generations. Have a nice day ahead. Thank you, and Assalamu alaikum.
Admiral, we are truly benefited from your deep insight, especially your viewpoint on fostering relationship among regional and extra-regional countries are duly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, after establishing diplomatic relations in the mid-70s, the bilateral relations between Bangladesh and Nigeria have been growing steadily. Consequently, the military engagement is also progressive, especially Bangladesh could earn the confidence of Nigerian military officers for higher defense courses. As such, it will be a profound honor to learn from the insight of Rear Admiral J.D.K. Akpan, Director of Plans of Nigerian Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Akpan.
The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, and our dear host, the Chief of Naval Staff, Bangladesh Navy, Heads of Navy, Coast Guard, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I think the Navy has the potential to make the world united, more united, because of the so many traditions that we share. I had put in my note to end the same way the Chief of Naval Staff, Iranian Navy, ended his speech. So when he mentioned fair winds and following sea, I quickly canceled it. But that is exactly what it is. I also got 4 points from the Chief of Naval Staff to share with you, and I see that also been mentioned by earlier speakers. That is to say, we have many things in common. I wish to start by thanking our dear host, the Chief of Naval Staff, Bangladesh Navy, for the invite to this event. Permit me to bring greetings from the Chief of Naval Staff, Nigerian Navy, Vice Admiral A.Z. Gambo, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, and Admiralty Medal, who would have loved to be here in person, but for other pressing national assignment. He has therefore mandated me to share his thoughts with this auspicious gathering. A special appreciation goes to the host Navy for creating the atmosphere that has stimulated interactions in line with the theme of this event. As naval forces, friendship beyond the horizon speaks to that familiar view of the horizon out there at sea. We are constantly reminded of the interconnectedness of peoples, cultures, commerce, economies, and at conflicts. Aware of this fact, the Nigerian Navy has made effort to build consensus and support multilateral approach in confronting the myriad maritime security challenges in Nigerian waters and in the Gulf of Guinea. These efforts resulted in the recent delisting of Nigerian waters from the Piracy Watch list by the International Maritime Bureau, with the attendant positive impact on shipping and socio-economic activities in the region. Acknowledging the multiplier effect of building friendships, the Nigerian Navy hosted the Sea Power for Africa Symposium in 2006 and 2021, and also the International Maritime Conference in 2016, 2018, and 2022. These engagements afforded the opportunity to promote symbiotic collaborations in the Gulf of Guinea region and strengthen the Yaoundé Code of Conduct, one of Africa's maritime security architecture that is homegrown. Also, the engagement enabled frank discussion on how the international community can provide support for the region and regional organizations in line with the aspirations of the Gulf of Guinea member states. Distinguished guests, I am glad to state that it has not been all talk and talk. Frantic efforts have been made to walk the talk. Consequently, our thanks goes to the US Navy, French Navy, Italian Navy, Royal Navy, because they've actually sponsored and are still sponsoring multinational maritime law enforcement exercises in the Gulf of Guinea, such as Exercise Obangeme Express, Exercise Flintlock, Exercise Nemo, and others. Only recently, the European Union Commercial Maritime Presence announced its engagement in the Gulf of Guinea to complement regional efforts. The Nigerian Navy will continue to cooperate in this regard. In essence, the Chief of Naval Staff asked me to share 4 points he considered we can take home regarding the theme of this event. Number 1, building friendships thrives in one of these following ways: cultivating people-to-people relationship, encouraging Navy-to-Navy staff talks through concrete defense agreements, supporting research and development into common problems, and lastly, through exchange of sea riders between smaller navies. This practice already exists between some bigger navies and smaller navies. Distinguished guests, by these parameters and more, I am glad to state that the Nigerian Navy and the Bangladesh Navy are friends indeed. Joy, Bangla. If I may add this, I interacted with one of the admirals in the Bangladesh Navy, and he said that the NDC Bangladesh is being considered being renamed Nigerian Defense College. In closing, let me highlight the efforts of the Nigerian Navy in drawing up the action plan to operationalize the national blue economic imperatives in Nigeria. In this regard, friendly naval forces must work together to bring about unhindered flow of goods and services across the global common. This would help in stemming the tide of criminalities in our individual maritime space and contribute to our collective prosperity. It is only then we can confidently say that we have built friendship beyond the horizon. On a final note, I strongly believe that the IFR 2022 has afforded the opportunity to strengthen existing friendship and explore new ones. Let us keep this in our heart. I will bring back my final word. As we will say in the Nigerian Navy, I wish you all fair winds and following seas. Thank you.
For your eloquent talk, especially your deliberation on multilateral approach for securing the sea is well articulated. August gathering. The relation between Thailand and Bangladesh have developed soon after the inception of Bangladesh. The renewed momentum in the bilateral relation is manifested through high number of visits at political level, official interactions, and increased people-to-people connectivity in last decade. Royal Thai Navy always provides logistic support to Bangladesh Navy ship in transit through Thailand. We feel honored to invite Vice Admiral Apakorn. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Admiral Apakorn.
Good morning, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Admiral M. Shahin Iqbal, Commander-in-Chief and representative from our friendly navies. I am Vice Admiral Apakorn Yokongkeo, Commander of the 3rd Naval Area Command, the Royal Thai Navy. As the representative of Commander-in-Chief, Royal Thai Navy. First of all, I would like to thank Admiral M. Shahin Iqbal for Maritime Discourse held today. And I am very pleased to attend. I am also glad to have had opportunity to meet all of you today. The development direction of blue economy and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals demonstrates the increasing importance of the sea of humanity in the future. Meanwhile, the growth of the maritime economy also caused more activities to utilize the sea in various fields, such as maritime transport, maritime resources, tourism, and fishery. It is more likely that piracy, armed robbery, contraband smuggling, and IUU fishing will affect safety and create more various and complex maritime issues. Besides, the actors such as of recent storm caused by climate change are also likely to increase accordingly. On the said problem cannot solve by only one country, and it inevitably affects several nations in a wide range. Maritime security and good order at sea may be called common interest. Therefore, we need to support each other. To deal with the said circumstance maritime domain awareness, or MDA, is crucial for many nations which engage in maritime activities. The reason is MDA will create awareness and understanding about situations that affect maritime security. Mutual support is the key answer to operate MDA effectively. Therefore, the Royal Thai Navy is focusing on building relationships and cooperation with the navies to achieve the same quality as before the pandemic of COVID-19. The ways to work out mutual support can be done through both bilateral and multilateral cooperation, such as information sharing and joint patrol. Moreover, knowledge, competence, experience, and technology development cooperation, including real-time information sharing systems, satellite data connection, and other relevant tools are also essential to accomplish effective MDA. Finally, I would like to confirm that the Royal Thai Navy is ready to fully cooperate and support other navies in maintaining security in the region. As I mentioned before, in creating mutual support and effective MDA under quickly changing circumstances after the spread of COVID-19. All maritime nations must spend close to cooperation with each other. Maritime stability and good order at sea in the region, which are common interests of all nations based on equality and respect, will be ensured by our cooperation. I believe that various maritime activities will be successful if every nation adhere to the way I said. Moreover, the development of security cooperation will be sustainable, created in future. Thank you.
Admiral, we are truly enlightened from your viewpoint and perception. Especially your concern for emerging non-traditional threat is duly noted. Perhaps we need to work collectively for combating the same. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh and Turkey have a very long history of deep association with each other. Turkey-Bangladesh relations always have been cordial and cooperative. Now it has reached to a new height as the two countries have stepped up for defense exchange and security cooperation. Turkey also provides significant training support to Bangladesh Armed Forces. Today, we feel honored to invite Vice Admiral Aydin Shirin, Chief of Staff of Turkish Naval Forces, on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Shirin.
No problem. Honorable Minister of the Foreign Affairs, respected admirals, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to be in this important and great organization that brings together the world's most distinguished navies. Turkey is one of the world's oldest and most prosperous maritime nations, and its defense policy places great importance on maritime operations in dynamic world. I am going to bring you about Turkish naval forces and the operations have been carried out for maritime security. The agenda is given on the screen. Thanks to our highly skilled personnel, Turkish Navy carries out her missions by way of 96 competent, 96 competent, and 18 auxiliary surface platforms, 12 submarines, and 27 aviation assets. Our capabilities also include a number of domestically developed unmanned air and surface assets. Additionally, shore-based operational capabilities remain as the complementary parts of Turkish naval forces, bringing specialized warfare skills as shown. Moving to the operational activities. Firstly, I will slightly touch upon the operational activities in the Black Sea and Operation Black Sea Harmony. In order to maintain the smooth flow of shipping through Turkish straits and maintain navigational order in the Black Sea, as a national initiative, Turkish Navy launched Operation Black Sea Harmony in March 2004. The aim of the Operation Black Sea Harmony is mainly to provide deterrence, to disrupt and prevent the threat of the terrorism and illicit trafficking of weapons of mass destruction, and their means of delivery and related materials by showing presence and determination at the Black Sea. Turkish naval forces have been conducting the operation with frigates, submarines, patrol boats, and MPAs. Now let's take a look at the irregular migration issue. In May 2015, Turkish Coast Guard has started Operation Hope when the irregular migration flow had reached a dramatic phase. In March 2016, Turkish Navy has begun to support the Turkish Coast Guard efforts in countering flow of migrants from Turkish coastline. Turkish Navy surface ships have conducted more than 10,000 hour surveillance missions so far. Around 6,000 migrants were detected and rescued during the relevant tasks. Now I will cover Operation Mediterranean Shield. As of 1st of April 2006, Turkish Navy has been conducting Operation Mediterranean Shield, which is a maritime security-focused operation in the East Med. The main task of the operation are to establish and maintain situational awareness in EMED, to deter possible illegal activities, to secure the strategic line of transportation, and contribute to the Mediterranean maritime security. Thanks to Operation Mediterranean Shield, Turkish Navy contributes to Operation Sea Guardian by way of sharing information. Turkish Navy has been actively contributing to the counter-piracy operations, such as Operations Ocean Shield and CTF 151 off the coast of Somalia and the Gulf of Aden since 2009. Turkish Navy has been actively contributing to UNIFIL with 1 frigate and Qatar's Operation World Gulf Shield with 1 corvette. Additionally, Turkey is conducting PASIX, an international joint exercise with partner nations. This slide presents a summary of the maritime security efforts of the Turkish Navy in the last 3 decades. From Arctic Circle to South Africa and from West African coast to Indian Ocean, our efforts have been carried out in a large-scale geographical area for contributing to the global peace and security. Now, I would like to turn briefly to the issue of naval mines detected in the Black Sea. As of March 26th, Turkey initiated mine surveillance operations. With this operation, in order to detect and defuse the mines, Turkey conducts intensive reconnaissance and surveillance by air and naval assets in accordance with Black Sea current chart. So far, 4 mines were detected and defused by Turkish Navy. In order to coordinate the operation, we have established the necessary contact with the operation centers of Bulgarian and the Romanian naval forces. Up to now, 10 drifting mines were detected and neutralized by Turkey, Romania, and Bulgaria. In this part of my briefing, I will provide information regarding the Black Sea Green Initiative. The Black Sea Grain Initiative was inaugurated by the Russian Federation, Turkey, Ukraine, and the United Nations on 20 July 2022. The goal is to enable the resumption of exports from Ukraine, such as grain, other foodstuffs, and fertilizers, including ammonia. Through a safe maritime humanitarian corridors in the Black Sea, since the departure of the first ship from Ukrainian ports on August 1, 2022, almost 11 million tons of grains and food has been transferred by more than 500 vessels. Regarding shipbuilding and modernization efforts during the last 2 decades, Turkish Naval Forces has exercised significant improvements in ship design, shipbuilding, and modernization, while assuming the project owner and supply roles on her own. Beginning with the domestic design, naval combatant platforms, we have gained invaluable expertise in defense industry, not only limited with the platforms, but also including C2 surveillance and naval weapons and weapon control systems. Indigenous systems ratio reached up to the 70% in this project, and we are determined to uprise this level up to the 90% in the upcoming 10 years. The most prominent projects can be listed as shown on the slide. Before closing my remarks, I would like to express my special thanks to friendly and brotherly country Bangladesh Navy personnel, especially the Chief of the Bangladesh Navy, Admiral Shahin Iqbal, for the hospitality and warm interest shown to me and my delegation. I congratulate the Golden Jubilee of the independence of the Bangladesh and the birth centenary of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, on behalf of Turkish Navy staff. I would like to put end to my words with my famous quote from the founder of the Turkish Republic, great leader, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk: "Peace at home, peace in the world." This concludes my briefing. Thank you for your kind attention.
Admiral, very many thanks for being with us and sharing your precious perspective. Especially your concern for global inflation is duly noted. Perhaps we have to depend more and more on the sea for our emancipation. Last but not the least, August gathering. For nearly 50 years, Bangladesh and the United States have enjoyed cordial diplomatic relations and have trusted partnership on a wide range of security issues, including maritime security. Similarly, Bangladesh Navy has remarkably benefited from the support and military cooperation from United States Navy. Today, we are honored to present before you the last speaker of today's Maritime Discourse, Admiral Samuel J. Paparo, Commander of U.S. Pacific Fleet. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Paparo.
Honorable Minister, thank you very much for the honor of addressing this august gathering. And to my dear friend, Admiral Shahin Iqbal, thank you very much for hosting this momentous event. And thank you to all of this august gathering of people of the sea. As we look left and we look right, we see the ties that bond us all. We're all wearing the same uniform. We are all mariners on the sea, subject to many of the same dangers and connected by the sea itself. The U.S. President John F. Kennedy once noted, yes, thank you, thank you. That's the first time I've heard that. The great U.S. President John F. Kennedy once said that the human body has the same salinity as the sea. And as we are all descended from the same single East African woman through our mitochondria, we are all connected to the sea and we're all drawn to it. I'd first like to appreciate the tremendous international fleet review conducted by Bangladesh Navy, beginning with the generous spirit of the festivities and the precise maneuver and execution of the fleet in the review yesterday demonstrates that Bangladesh Navy is a world leader in precision and professionalism. This kind of excellence is not achieved overnight. Bangladesh Navy has been a world leader in its participation in United Nations operations all around the globe, reflecting that the Bangladesh Navy recognizes that the matters of the sea and all humanity are connected. I had not initially intended to reflect the date today, but when my dear friend Vice Admiral Saito-san mentioned it, it does bear mention that today is the anniversary of the start of the Second World War for the United States and Japan, a terrible conflict that began with the U.S.-Japan with a great friendship that descended into a terrible conflagration, and from it emerged a glorious alliance and friendship that is available to the world over, that reflected the learning of those two nations, of the interconnectedness of the world. It also reflected the emergence of the international rules-based order with its principles of sovereignty, freedom of navigation, freedom of the seas, and in fact, it is this portfolio of rules and conventions that has lifted 60% of the world out of poverty since the end of that terrible war, and lifts 160,000 people out of poverty every single day. It is a worthy set of international rules-based orders that all of humanity, from no matter what country we come from, absolutely replies. There are threats to all of us through the sea, and the sea connects us all. Those threats include sea rise, natural disasters, illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing, international terrorism, and there are also threats based on states that would upend that international rules-based order that sustains us all. It's important to recognize, as many speakers have thus far, that none of us can do this alone. And in fact, it's sustained by this recognition that Bangladesh has so wisely recognized in its theme of friendships beyond the horizon. Those threats to humanity, what they abhor most are our friendships, our partnerships. They begin with the interests of the nation, but they're sustained by the relationships that we forge here, relationships that are bounded by our own common trust, by our nation's interests, and our recognitions that the fate of humanity is connected as the seas connect us all. On this, the centenary of the birth of the father of Bangladesh, and on the golden jubilee of the founding of Bangladesh, I commend Bangladesh's international leadership. I commend the execution of this magnificent international fleet review. And I commend all of you for being here and for sharing your thoughts over the course of the conference. Honorable Minister and my dear friend, Admiral Shaheen Iqbal, and to all, thank you very much.
Admiral, we are truly benefited from your deep insight. For our audience, you know that Admiral Papar is a very known face in any maritime discourse, seminar, and workshop, and we are truly benefited out of him. And Admiral also thanks profusely for appreciating your sense of satisfaction. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us the end of deliberation of views, insight, and ideas of great naval leaders. Now we may have a short span of time for respected audience. If anyone intends to share his views and opinions only, you are welcome. Anybody? Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you. Dear audience, perhaps we have heard enough, and it's time to listen from the oracle. I consider it to be a distinct honor to welcome today's chief guest, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Honorable Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, to the podium to enlighten us with his diplomatic acumen and a sense of wisdom. Please welcome the chief guest.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Chief of the Naval Staff, Bangladesh Navy, chiefs of the navies and heads of delegations of the participating navies, senior civil and military dignitaries, learned speakers and panelists from home and abroad, distinguished members from the diplomatic corps, academicians, marine professionals, my dear officers and sailors of Bangladesh and foreign navies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. It is indeed a matter of great honor and privilege for me to be present here in Maritime Discourse session of the first ever International Fleet Review 2022 organized by the Bangladesh Navy. I thank Chief of the Naval Staff Admiral Shaheen Iqbal for inviting me to join the discussion today as a guest and interact with such esteemed intellectuals, academicians, on maritime professionals from home and abroad. We are particularly delighted to know that the navies from 28 countries have joined us to commemorate the birth centenary of our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and also to celebrate the Golden Jubilee of independence. This clearly demonstrates our excellent multilateral as well as bilateral cooperation and partnership between the participating countries. I'm confident that today's Maritime Discourse, as part of International Fleet Review 2022, will obviously strengthen the interaction and cooperation, keeping the selected theme, I quote, friendship beyond the horizon, in the perspective. Distinguished guest, Bangladesh as a littoral state has been a hub of maritime activities for centuries, whereas the Bay of Bengal plays a pivotal role in our trade and commerce with the outside world. At the very outset, I would like to pay my humble tribute to the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, on the occasion of his birth centenary, who aptly emphasized about the enormous importance of the endless sea resources for the development of Bangladesh. He enacted the Territorial Waters and Maritime Zones Act 1974, which laid down the foundation for our maritime rights and responsibilities. This was enacted much before the law of the sea that was passed in 1982. His visionary leadership has given us an independent Bangladesh with a strong foundation of democratic values, human rights and justice, and a lofty aspiration for peace, progress and development. He often used to say, and I quote, Peace is imperative for development. His able daughter, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, proudly rekindled the dream of Bangabandhu among our entire nation and carried forward the flame among the great highway of development. With her prudent leadership, Bangladesh has amicably resolved the delimitation of the maritime boundary and attained undisputed sovereignty over a huge maritime area, almost nearly 119,000 square miles in the Bay of Bengal. We have firmly set our course towards Vision 2041 to become an industrial, digital, and prosperous country by 2041. In the last several years, we have witnessed massive infrastructural developments and innumerable mega projects while maintaining steady economic growth, drawing admiration from all around the world. At the same time, educate implementation of Sustainable Development Goals 2030 and Bangladesh Delta Plan 2100 related to the management of Ganges-Brahmaputra Delta and climate change resilience will stand our country in good stead for the future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, before we could fully recover from the onslaught of corona pandemic, where the current war between Russia and Ukraine have cast a shadow of pale and frustration in the progress of global civilization and predicts an uncertain economic gloom and downturn in the global trade and commerce. For the welfare of the people, we want an end of war and resolution of conflict through dialogue and discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, the Indo-Pacific region is home to 4.3 billion people, 6% of the world's total population. The region also accounts for 40% of the world's total GDP. The region also has the maritime significance. The sea road carries goods worth $1.9 trillion a year. Let me also share with you that the Bay of Bengal is one of the rarest seas in the world that has seen cross streams of civilizations. Bay of Bengal connects Indian and the Pacific Ocean. It also connects South Asia with the Southeast Asia. In recent times, geostrategic and economic importance of Bay of Bengal and the region surrounding the sea come to the foreground with the growing focus on the Indo-Pacific. However, the countries of the Bay of Bengal region are particularly vulnerable to the adverse impacts of climate change due to several factors, including the densely populated, huge coastal areas and reliance on agriculture. With Himalayan glaciers melting at an accelerated pace, there are increased instances of floods and tropical storms in this region, making it one of the most disaster-prone regions in the world. A recent study published in 2019 showed that average maximum sea surface temperature in the Bay of Bengal has increased about 1.4 degrees Celsius over the last 20 years. The frequency of tropical cyclones in the North Indian Ocean is 7% of the global total, and their impact on the countries bordering the northern Bay of Bengal can be extremely disastrous. Ocean heating, regular cyclone formation destroy the feeding, breeding, and nursery ground for fishes and other commercially important species. The sea level rise in the Bay of Bengal and its multiple after effects may have direct consequences of mass movement of the climate migrants, with security implications for the region, both internal and external. On the other hand, the sea could be our defense against climate change if we could use its resources in a sustainable manner. This vast sea acts as a great heat reservoir, leveling and moderating the temperature extremes. The bay is rich in untapped natural resources. Moreover, it is one of the largest fishing grounds in the world. Once again, linking the Indian and the Pacific Oceans, the bay occupies a central position in relation to global economic flows in a way that can be seen in only a few other regions. Extracting ocean's resources and potential sustainably can help the countries in the region to adapt to and mitigate the adverse impacts of climate change and lead towards enhanced resilience. We should not also lose focus of the fact that the oceans are both an engine for global economic growth and the key source of food security. But the oceans are coming under increased pressure from population growth, global competition for raw materials, food demand, water scarcity, maritime security threats, climate change, and marine pollution. These multiple challenges and other geoeconomic and geostrategic factors require an integrated response and an urgent transition of the world economy towards a sustainable, inclusive, and resource-efficient path through adopting the concept of blue economy. This is a very important time for Bangladesh when we are witnessing remarkable development in the social and economic indicators with substantial investment in regional connectivity, deep sea ports, special economic zones, coastal industries, and offshore oil and gas exploration. Bangladesh should aim to develop an inclusive and people-centric blue economy, enhancing capacity building with innovative financing, ensuring the transfer of critical technology, and strengthening cross-electoral partnerships and collaboration with other maritime nations. We should also design the ocean governance policies for effective utilization of maritime realm and sustainable use of coastal and marine resources, reducing the risks of irreversible damage to marine ecosystem. Dear guest, I believe that if oceans were to propel our economies, then we must use seas to build peace, friendship, and trust, and curb conflict, respect and ensure freedom of navigation, and cooperate, not compete, in responding to challenges in the seas. We want to build new pillars of economic activity in the coastal areas and in linked hinterlands to sustainable tapping of oceanic resources. It is also a must to harvest the riches of the oceanic ecosystems. In fact, when the oceans are open, the seas are secure, countries are connected, the rule of law prevails, and the region is stable. Nations, small and large, prosper as sovereign countries. So, the seamless connectivity, collective action, and cooperation and partnership to secure peace, enhance trade, and countries can reap the benefits of the oceanic commons. The large presence of foreign navies at this fleet review is a confirmation of our shared urge to walk the pathways of peace and cooperation to keep the maritime domain safe and secure. At the same time, oceans are lifelines of global prosperity. They represent us with enormous economic opportunities to build our nations. Oceans are critical for the global energy security, as over 60% of world oil production moves through sea routes. Our ability to reap economic benefits from the ocean rests on our capacity to respond to the challenges in the maritime domain. The threat of natural disasters like the tsunami and cyclones is ever present. Man-made problems such as oil spills, climate change continue to risk the stability of the maritime domain. A peaceful and stable maritime environment is critical for regional and global security. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our priority would be to scale up and strengthen the vibrant trade, investment, technology, and commercial linkages between Bangladesh and other maritime nations. The oceans and world's waterways are global commons. The concept of whole world as a family is perhaps most vividly witnessed on the oceans of the planet that connect us all. Threat of seaborne piracy and IUU fishing continues to endanger the regional and global peace and stability. Given the scale and complexity of modern-day challenges, the international maritime stability cannot be preserved by a single nation. Navies and maritime agencies of the world need to work together in partnership and engineer virtuous cycles of cooperation. Since its independence, Bangladesh has always addressed economic security as its national security and tried for development. Its role in regional geopolitics is largely defined by regional issues, where the country maintains a balanced approach between them and thus ensures its own development. It has thus offered a space to navigate its foreign policy. Friendship to all and malice towards none, enunciated by our father of the nation. Bangladesh, as a small power thriving to emerge as a middle-income country, has incorporated and practiced widely the accepted universal values of its foreign policy. The country is now currently graduating from the least developed country category to a developing one. Bangladesh usually prioritizes multilateralism in its foreign policy. For instance, Bangladesh went to the international tribunals for the law of the sea to resolve its maritime boundary. In a similar way, when the Rohingya exodus numbering over 1.1 million took place in 2017, Bangladesh went to the United Nations to resolve the crisis. Bangladesh feels that external cooperation such as countering terrorism and anti-piracy drive in the sea and ocean, cybersecurity, climate change, and disaster management should be promoted through cooperation and partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, as Bangladesh lies between South Asia and Southeast Asia and is connected and considered as a gateway between the regions, Bangladesh always promotes regionalism and also have a special focus on sub-regional forums. Bangladesh is currently serving as the chair of the Indian Ocean Rim Association, or IORA, and members of BIMSTEC, BBIN, IONS. Apart from these organizations, Bangladesh is also an observer of ASEAN. Bangladesh's role as one of the top troop contributing countries to the UN peacekeeping, and especially the development of Bangladesh Navy ships in the Mediterranean under UNIFIL, is indeed a strong testimony of our resolve towards achieving world peace as well. My profuse thanks to men and women of Bangladesh Navy for their tireless dedication for making the fleet review a truly historic success. My sincere gratitude also to all the navies for their strong support for this international event and your presence today. Finally, I wish a grand success of IFR 2022 and continued cooperation and partnership among all the navies of the regions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Long live friendship between Bangladesh and partner countries. Long live Bangladesh, Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu.
Thank you very much for your inspiring speech. Respected audience, Bangladesh Navy is tasked with prime responsibility of defending national sovereignty over the sea area and protecting our maritime interests greatly. But this time, Bangladesh Navy has taken that commitment towards the horizon to reassure the bonding and cooperation to strengthen the world maritime community. At this point of time, may I take the distinct privilege to invite Admiral M. Shahin Iqbal, Chief of Naval Staff, Bangladesh Navy, to deliver his vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief of Naval Staff, Bangladesh Navy.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Chiefs of the Navies, Head of Coast Guard, delegation leaders and other members of the delegation, invited civil and military dignitaries, respected ladies and gentlemen, members of the electronic and print media. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. Before I start my word of thanks, I just want to share one or two things. Firstly, most of you may not be aware that why did I put my chair on this stage? It is just to derive a lesson that after having such a lovely breakfast in a wonderful venue down the hill in front of the beachfront, why I'm saying all this because some of the guys has missed the morning breakfast. So the venue was down the hill in front of this nice sea beach in a cottage. So where I had to have the control of the entire delegations, putting my deputy with a whistle to control the delegations for the picture time. So, and after that, when I was planning to have this maritime discourse after the morning breakfast, so I thought of people may not be awake, but I found that most of the people remained awake. But there were few who fall asleep for some times. It is just because of the good speakers, what we heard from my friends from abroad. There are a lot of insight from them. So thank you very much for your thought. And nextly, most of the speakers thanked me by name, Admiral Shahin Iqbal, for this wonderful arrangement we made for the IFR. But I just want to share that it's not only me, it is my officers and my men who work day and night for a long time. So before I say, give a round of applause to them also. For them, it is me here today. In this month of December, the month of our victory, let me begin by paying tribute to the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, under whose undisputed leadership we have earned our coveted independence. And very fortunately today, we are in the IFR to commemorate the birth centenary and the golden jubilee of our independence. Although you heard that we had a plan to host last year, but because of the COVID, we had to shift to this year. Dear guests, it is indeed an honor and great privilege to have the Honorable Foreign Minister and all the dignitaries from home and abroad amongst us today in Maritime Discourse session of the International Fleet Review 2022. I extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to the Honorable Foreign Minister for his kind presence, who has always been a strong proponent of developing maritime cooperations with the nations around the globe. Gentlemen, the history of human civilization is deeply rooted in the oceans and the seas. In the same spirit as before, the sea has remained and will always be the center of all our concern and will be the source of future development. To promote the maritime interests of a nation, the Navy would be the prime actor at sea. Therefore, the Navy has become indispensable for each country to safeguard and pursue national interest from the sea. Maintaining good order at sea has become a predominant factor in national development that leads to world peace and prosperity. Hence, a professional approach is required to have more interactions to augment friendship beyond the horizon as the theme of this IFR 2022. In this perspective, IFR intends to be a useful tool for mutual benefit and cooperations for strengthening relations between the maritime nations. In the wake of our friendship today, we had the opportunity to listen from deep inside and be touched by the professional wisdom of the naval leadership from across the world. I'm sure their views and thought-provoking ideas would be a great source of our inspiration. I deeply appreciate and extend my sincere thanks to all the speakers for sharing their invaluable views, ideas, and perception on the maritime affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all the chiefs of the navies, head of the delegations, and all participants for accepting our invitation, for attending this IFR, and also for this maritime discourse. Finally, once again, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to the Honorable Foreign Minister for sparing his valuable time and gracing this occasion as the chief guest. May I now humbly request all of you to kindly join me a big round of applause in honor of our today's chief guest. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Long live friendship among all the countries. Long live Bangladesh. Joy Bangla. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of appreciation. Now, the handing over of memento to the chief guest by Chief of Naval Staff. May I now humbly request chief guest of today's program to accept a token of memento from Chief of Naval Staff, Bangladesh Navy, as a remembrance of today's session. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a photo session in front of a stage with the chief guest. May I now request all head of the delegation and all the Rear Admiral of Bangladesh Navy and all the admin authorities to join in the photo session with the chief guest. Ladies and gentlemen, that marks the culmination of today's program. Thank you very much for being with us. Wish you friendship beyond the horizon. Have a good day. Thank you very much.